You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chilson, and this is my review for The Inspection. Before we get to this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. The inspection served as a Cinema Q special presentation at the 2022 Denver Film Festival, including a pre-film reception with special in-person guest Raul Castillo, who was on hand to receive the festival's 2022 Excellence in Acting Award. Inspection is a 2022 drama that follows a young man who is rejected by his mother for being gay. Frenchie then decides to join the Marines to find new purpose in his life and ultimately ends up finding a bit of family along the way. Inspection is written and directed by first-time director Elegance Brayton, based upon his own true story. The film stars Jeremy Pope, Raul Castillo, and Gabrielle Union. I had seen the trailer for The Inspection, watching other films in the cinema. It does have a wide release coming on November 18th from Powerhouse Studios A24. And obviously, being a part of the LGBTQ community myself, the film's subject matter interested me, but also the trailer had me going in just a bit precautious. We're dealing with the military. It looked like we were dealing with a lot of trauma. I was hoping for the best, but really headed in a bit nervous to this special presentation at the Denver Film Festival. Ultimately, I think The Inspection is a solid drama, though it never really reaches any sort of true greatness. So let's go ahead and kick things off with the positives first. Well, I have to start off with the two acting performances that really moved me here. First and foremost is Jeremy Pope, who is our lead playing Frenchie, the stand-in for Elegance in his own semi autobiographical film. Jeremy Pope is amazing. He's commanding in this lead role, really engaging. Vulnerability and yet fierceness that he provides here is really great work. Was beautifully cast. Not only was Pope wonderfully cast, he comes through and delivers. We have Gabrielle Union, who has never been more unlikable than she is here. I love Gabrielle Union. We all know she is super supportive mother and has been an unwavering, amazing ally to the LGBTQIA performance. I think that's a big reason she is an executive producer here. But woo, her character is the opposite of all of that, and she kills it. Oh, she is so dislikable here in the best possible ways. Honestly, I really enjoy how the film frames the story itself around this boy and his connection with his mother. Through that connection specifically, Elegance's experience just rings true. You can feel what a personal film this is for him as a writer, specifically, and as a director. And that personal touch is what really elevates the film above being just yet another in a genre that is cluttered full of stories like this. As a queer person, we've seen this story, we've seen similar stories, we know the tragedies of these situations, but Elegance is coming from such a personal place that it elevates that material. It's also a highly triumphant story in more ways than one, that once again rings true thanks to the personal nature of the writer director and his relationship to the material. And It's short. It doesn't go very long past like an hour and a half, which is amazing for a dramatic semi-autobiographical film. And again, I was expecting 2+ hours, and this thing rings in quick. And I think it utilizes that time really well. You feel connected to our lead character, you understand the issues and problems he's having to face, you get that relationship. So I think it's a really, really lean, mean, effective use of screen time. Then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to the inspection? Well, I alluded to it several times in those positives, even. It's really just a common story. It's commonplace for queer stories to tackle issues like this, to feel like a whole labor of trauma as we move throughout. And unfortunately, the inspection falls a lot into those categories. We're dealing mostly with trauma. We're dealing mostly with stories of abuse and of ostracization, and they try at times to have some sort of reprieve, even in the humiliation itself, having comedic reprieve, but it just doesn't quite hit for me. Those moments don't feel as true as the traumatic moments, which is a bit unfortunate. Also, our side characters are not fully developed, specifically some of the friends he makes in the camp. They don't get the development I think they need, and even the villainous characters don't get enough fleshing out. So once we start rounding a corner, there's a moment in pretty much the final scene, the final event of the film. It's really meant to juxtapose his relationship with his mother that I felt was pretty much unearned on several fronts. And it's at that moment that it feels as though we're really trying to glamorize this sort of abuse. Whereas through the rest of the film, I don't really think it was being glamorized. And it's a bit disappointing that at the end of the day, it does feel pro military after it really kind of demonstrates the mistreatment of young people who enter the military for numerous amounts of reasons. Heading in, I really did not think this was going to have that kind of pro military slant to it. And I do think the film succumbs to that overall rah rah military builds character and builds relationships type of narrative. But it's also hard to argue against that when this is someone speaking from their own true experience. So I do think that unfortunately the script, although personal, does lack the depth to a lot of our side characters to fully distance itself from the other films of the like. Well, I really do enjoy a lot of the directorial filmmaking decisions. We get these really kind of erotic camp moments in the film that I lived for. Wish we had a few more of them, to be honest, because otherwise, the direction of the film is just a bit drab and a bit sorrowful. I think it's with almost a confused tone by the end, like this uplifting but sorrowful tone to the story. The film kind of wanted us to feel celebratory after showcasing atrocity. So at the end, I also was a little bit at war with what was happening in the film and what it was trying to say to me and what it was trying to have me feel. So overall, I do think that the inspection is worth a watch. It is powerful enough and it gives us a personal look in a queer story that has happened time and time again. And it shows great promise for a first time filmmaker, though you can certainly feel he is green and rough around the edges, as the story the film is telling certainly is one we've seen several times over, though the overall tone feels conflicted. If you're within the queer community, if you are interested in true stories at large, if biographical dramas are your jam, I do think The Inspection is worth a watch when it hits theaters on November 18th. So that is my review for The Inspection. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, Click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see the inspection, or have you already seen it? Let me know your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.